Rawr. Okay, hello. My name is Javier Sanchez, and this is a Orbital Mission Control QA portfolio project that I made. It's space themed. It's for QA automation. I used React, TypeScript, Vite, Playwright, Git, and GitHub Actions. The goal of this project was to demonstrate how I approach software quality from both an automation and manual QA perspective. So this project simulates a mission operations dashboard where the operator can log in, review spacecraft fleet status, monitor mission queue times, check alerts, and filter missions. So this is my README here. You can see I do have my access badge. You can see pass. We can scroll down and see that we have 14 passed playwright tests. I do have my QA documentation here. We have our test strategy, manual test cases, and defect reports. So let's just log in here, and then the password is orbit123. But I do want to say that originally, the username and password I did set it to where any username and password worked, which is not ideal. It's not like something that you have want in the real world. So I treated it as like a real QA finding and improve the app so that only valid demo operators with credentials can access the dashboard. So here is the dashboard. So we have different metrics. We have the fleet status here. We have a mission queue which we can search through, and then operational alerts. So I did build the dashboard with testable data, so Playwright could actually validate it, not just not just validate whether the page is open or loaded. So I also wanted to, for the mission queue, I did want to show that if you type in like certain things, right, that it does filter out. But also if you type something within the actual mission queue, so say like M-1043, it does filter that as well. One thing I also want to point out is that if you just type in something that it does not relate to anything, it does spit out. So let's see, not real. So if you type in, there's like no missions that match the current filter. Yeah, so I just wanted to point that out, that I did include something like that. So now moving on to Visual Studio Code. So here I wanted to show my tests, the structure I have. So I have data and pages. Um, so the spec files describe test scenarios. And then here I have the page files, which contain reusable locators and actions. And then the data files here keep test data separate from test logic. So first of all, I have loginspecs.ts open. So I want to say that it does cover positive and negative authentication behavior. So here you have our errors and valid operator, like what basically the outputs of these. So we test basically for every login case, whether or not there's invalid credentials, whether there's a successful login, empty credentials, missing username, missing password, things like that, just a normal login suite. And then we move on to dashboard spec. So the dashboard test here covers section visibility, metric values, spacecraft telemetry, mission queue details, operational alerts, and mission filtering behaviors. And then my dashboard page.ts. So this allows me to keep the logic reusable. So for example, filter missions here and verify mission visible. Make the test file easier to read and easier to maintain. And then our dashboard data.ts. So dashboard data is stored separately here. And this helps keep the test clean and make the future changes just a lot easier. So what I'll do now is I'll run the test locally, the full suite, and we'll see the output of that. And so 14 tests using 6 workers. It'll just give it a second. You see here we have 14 pass here. Okay, so now I want to switch to my GitHub Actions, and I want to show you all the workflows. But I do want to start off and point out that the very first one, I did have an error. It was downloading content incorrectly, and I did manage to fix it, troubleshoot it, and it ended up working, and I was able to do all of these pushes and have them all check out correctly. Um, the workflow, the workflow installs dependencies, Playwright browsers, runs a production build, and it does upload the full Playwright report as a artifact. Back to Visual Studio Code. I want to show you my manual test cases, my markdown file for this. I wanted to say that I added this because QA is not just automation. So this does outline like the login, the dashboard, and the mission filtering scenarios with preconditions, steps, and expected results, and the automation status. And then the defect.reports MD, or the defect.reports markdown file. So I did document defects, um, and then so things like the original issue, which I talked about, where the login was accepting pretty much anything. I did end up documenting that. So my defect reports includes every step. It includes the defects, like a reproduction, the steps that were taken, the results, and then the resolution in the end. And also it includes regression coverage. I wanted to show that I could think through the entire process, right? Not just like just manual QA automation or just like tests. I wanted to show that like within actual like building the client or like building like something, for example, like the login screen. I want to show that I can actually resolve the issues um, and then build a test around that resolution. So I just wanted to come back to the dashboard and just talk about like kind of like recap what this was basically being able to create a front end and back end application and being able to test that, right? And I wanted to demonstrate the importance of documentation and that I could run tests through GitHub Actions CI. The main skills are Playwright automation, page object model design, positive and negative test coverage, dashboard regression testing, manual QA documentation, Git workflow, and CI validation. So yeah, that was my walkthrough of basically what I did. I hope you guys enjoy. I want to say thanks for watching, and I did put the GitHub link down in the description, so you can go check that out. But yeah, thank you, and you have a good one.